the 38th instalment in the What Caught My Eye series, and this could be my most controversial video to date. In this edition, I'll be focusing on Andrew Bridgen. He's a Tory MP, don't you know, has been expelled from the Conservative Party. The background of this is because back in the last year, he quoted, it wasn't his words, he quoted from a cardiologist that the syringe, as I call it, and the effects of it, or ill effects if you like, are worse than or equal, footing, I'm surmising here, than that since the Holocaust, which in itself is a very clumsy thing to quote. Now, I know next to nothing about the Holocaust, so I can't comment on that. But I suppose, in a way, if you want somebody to listen to you, being controversial for controversy's sake isn't going to help your cause whatsoever. And Andrew Bridgen's only doing what his constituents want him to do. And that's what an MP does, help them if they've got a problem. And they must have raised the awareness of the syringe, as I call it, and the injuries and death, in some cases, has affected them. Now, Andrew Bridgen was campaigning for years because of the post office scandal, and that was sorted out a year ago. The blood transfusion scandal, that has been sorted out now as well. And do you know what's interesting? He did take the AstraZeneca, and I think he got injured by it. There's loads of people that you hear and saw in the media saying about the harms of the syringe. But have you noticed that they all seem to have taken it? Now, I can tell you hand on heart and categorically that I have never, ever, ever, it's the God honest truth, taken that syringe. I have a letter which I could show you that was posted through my letterbox, well, that's what she said, dated March 2021 for me to have the AstraZeneca. And guess what I did, ladies and gentlemen? I used my noggin, used my brain, my know-how, and I point blank refused. Even though there's loads of family members in my family who took it, I was the pinnacle. I don't buckle under the pressure. And I may not have achieved much in my life, but I tell you something, not taking the syringe and not falling for the lies and the deceit is one of my best things I have ever done. Because it took guts. And there was loads of people who I couldn't name who should be on a manslaughter charge, who used emotional blackmail to blackmail people on the radio, right? Along the lines of, if we don't take this thing, I am not locking down again. And that, my friend, who said that, I use a friend term loosely, is a criminal offence, emotional blackmail. And did you notice that all these doctors were on the television or on the radio, and they always seem to be the same doctors? Did you notice that? And I think people need to understand it's got nothing to do with TV doctors, like Dr. Hillary, for example. It's between the person and their GP. And the GP makes the decision whether they should take it or not. But there's no way that I was going to take a trial drug because it takes up to 10 years to create a vaccine. They cut corners because they didn't want another lockdown. I mean, if you took it, you're gullible. And I think you're also stupid. Because it comes to a point that if the government told you, if you jump off this cliff, the eagle's wings would spread open in slow motion, you would go and do it. That is what it seems. Why would you take something that could do you damage, maybe not in the short term, but in the long term going forward? And in the real world, which these people don't live in, it's dog eat dog. You look after number one in this life. I'm not taking something to help you lot out. I won't do that because I know what people are like. They can shit for you for a great height. They say, oh, I'm going to do this for you today, but then they don't bother. Oh, I'll send you something. I'll send you details on a Wednesday. They won't do it. Those type of people. So I've never taken it. And I've also got the proof that I did decline it as well. You know, as a thing. Because I will not be told what I can and cannot put in my body. You will not brainwash me. You will not harass me. And I made a conscious decision, and 100% I was banned on the money because of it. Because the government were in cahoots with pharmaceutical companies. You do realise as well that the syringe, as I call it again, was tested on animals, right? And was paid for by taxpayers' money. Now, the Ramonas go on about the EU. The EU were the first to say that the AstraZeneca causes blood clots for the under 30s. And a presenter on a radio station who was shouting a name nameless, just like the person himself, little clue there, himself there, saying, oh, the EU are just scaremongering. They're only saying that because they haven't got many vaccines and they're trying to derail and stop Britain getting them. And guess what happened then, ladies and gentlemen? A couple of weeks later, they actually, oh shit, yeah, there's some truth in that. And then they were given Pfizer and Moderna. And do you know what? On the other side of the same coin, I have little to no sympathy for those who took the syringe. Because you did it because you're stupid enough to believe the narrative that was pushed out, not just by the media, but by the doctors and the clinicians as well. Right? That's why people did it. So Andrew Bridgen deserves all the credit in the world. He's gone above and beyond helping people and making people aware that this syringe is dangerous. Right? And when it goes in your bloodstream, that's it. You're finished. You're done for. You're kaput. So you can categorically say that I'm not taking it and I never will. And it's like people treated it in there like the Neighbours theme tune. Neighbours should be there for one another. That's when good neighbours make great friends. Not in the real world it isn't. Not in the real world. So that's my piece on it. So Andrew Bridgen, he's done great. Now if everybody followed the example of Andrew Bridgen to help their constituents, then maybe, just maybe, the Tory government wouldn't be in this much chaos and disarray as it currently is.